All the real heroes are not storybook combat fighters either. Every single man in this army plays a vital role. Don't ever let up. Don't ever think that your job is unimportant. Every man has a job to do, and he must do it. Every man is a vital link in the great chain. Congratulations! If you're watching this holovid, you're one of the lucky few who have been chosen for a unique opportunity to form a financial relationship with the fine people down at Defiance Industries. Formed in 2577, Defiance has grown to become the bedrock on which the Lyran Commonwealth and other entities have built stable and successful planets. From small arms to battle armor to battle mechs, Defiance Industries can meet your every need and make sure that your planetary defense force is ready for any possible threat. For over 500 years, the production lines on Hesperus II have been producing the highest quality and most reliable weapon systems ever created. Through nearly cataclysmic challenges, Defiance has persisted and always delivered on their promises. Now, at the dawn of a new era, we want you to partner with us to bring peace and stability to your world. Our sales reps are standing by. Contact us today so that you don't have to wish you had in a time of crisis. Defiance Industries, we're manufacturing the future. In the crowded market for comparatively inexpensive non-battle mech weapons options in the first few decades of the 31st century, the Defiance Industries vehicle division saw an opportunity to create demand with a brand new design. Many of the tracked tanks still in service among the Lyran Commonwealth had lineages that stretched back hundreds of years. Their benefits and drawbacks were well known, and several concealed significant defects that persisted through countless production runs. Creating a new 65-ton mainline tank that incorporated the lessons learned during the Succession Wars would generate buzz, and that interest would result in buyers. Designed to embrace a low profile and angled armor plating to encourage ricochet impacts, the Patton and its sibling known as the Rommel were a combination of tried and true techniques as well as some new and redesigned technologies. Able to take advantage of Defiance Industries' in-house production on Hesperus II, the Patton was powered by a Magma 260 fusion engine, which provided enough energy to propel the tank at up to 64.8 kilometers per hour. It also provided the tank with 10 integrated heat sinks, which created some wiggle room for loadouts beyond the standard ballistics or missile build. The Patton carried 14.5 tons of standard armor, which provided an impressive 232 points of protection for the tank. The front armor and turret each boasted 51 points of protection, which made the Patton a much tougher customer than its sleek low profile might suggest. Tanks like the Demolisher and Manticore might look intimidating, but for the crew inside, it's better to come home alive than to end up starring in a holovid that features your fiery destruction. Thankfully, the Patton is more than just looks and thick skin. The original 3027 loadout included a Defiance Killer Autocannon 10 Type T in the turret, which gave the tank a solid punch and a decent range. Backing it up was a Coventry 5-tube missile launcher, which could provide some modest fire support and carry specialty rounds like Thunder LRMs. For keeping those bothersome infantry away, a hotshot flamer and an A5L small laser were introduced into the body of the tank. While the loadout is a little bit of everything, the AC-10 remains enough of a threat that even a battle mech would need to take pause before rushing in to face even a single Patton. The Rommel variant of the tank traded some of the armored protection and the flamer in exchange for cramming an AC-20 Mech Hunter autocannon inside. Having just 11.5 tons of armor instead of 14.5 is a big ask, and it made the Rommel a much squishier option. Still, clients who were willing to take that risk for double the single-point fire damage at close range could get them. Everybody walks away happy. There is only one tactical principle which is not subject to change. It is to use the means at hand to inflict the maximum amount of wounds, death, and destruction on the enemy in the minimum of time. Marketed as a less expensive option for planetary defense forces, sales were brisk. When deployed across the Lyran Commonwealth worlds, more expensive battlemechs were freed up to move toward active fronts. However, when word spread of the Patton's capabilities, orders began to come in to Defiance from frontline units as well. With the union between House Steiner and House Davion, the Patton and Rommel were spread across the Federated Commonwealth military as part of their attempt to mesh the two House forces. This supply of the tank to House Davion's space was disrupted by the eventual Civil War. Still, it's not unheard of to see the Patton deployed across the Inner Sphere. With a good reputation and solid performance even against battlemechs, few turned down the opportunity to buy one. Battle reports show that the Patton's low profile allowed for what is described as creative deployment options in urban environments. Ambushes were set up using the tank concealed by elevated roadways, parking garages, and even within the basements of buildings, so that when an enemy walked by, they could be hit at extremely close range. Often, several shots with the AC-10 or AC-20 from the Rommel could take down a battle mech which died trying to sort out the source of the incoming fire. Anytime you can take down mechs with combined arms fire, you're maximizing utility. Of course, over the years there have been a litany of field refits and attempts to upgrade the design. The Patton's fusion engine limited access a bit due to its corresponding higher price, so it's not unexpected to see a downgraded ICE version. When the Free Rosselhog Republic was forged from previously Lyran and Combine border worlds, a significant number of Pattons traded hands as well. Unable to create their own fusion engines for it, the Rosselhogians cobbled together what they call the Axel Mark I and Mark II versions of the Patton. The Mark I was their version of the Rommel, which kept the AC-20 autocannon but dropped the laser in favor of 2 machine guns and upgraded the LRM-5 to an LRM-10. The Mark II also carried an AC-20, the LRM-10, 2 machine guns, and had a vehicle flamer. Both of the Axels had a movement profile of just 350. Both of Coyote's Rommels cut loose with their Gauss rifles. Both rounds slammed into the fire starter, one destroying their mech's right knee, the other striking just under the cockpit. As the 35-ton mech reeled, it was struck twice more as Coyote Platoon's 3 Pattons added their heavy autocannons to the attack. What was left of the right leg from knee to mid-shin exploded into fragments. Without a leg, the fire starter fell over, dirt and snow flying into the air as it crashed to the ground. There were 4 official variants of the Patton, and each took a slightly different tact in improving upon what had already proved a very capable design. The first was the Ultra, which was first produced in 3062. It retained the 260 fusion engine and carried 13 tons of armor. The original AC-10 was pulled in favor of a brand spanking new Ultra AC-10, along with 30 rounds of ammunition. The LRM-5 and Flamer were pulled in favor of 2 standard medium lasers in the turret and 3 machine guns in the body, 2 facing forward and 1 facing the rear. The Patton Ultra is a logical upgrade that boosts the damage output considerably. The 2 medium lasers are a nice addition to the turret, and more than worth it in exchange for that LRM-5 launcher, which few people seem to like anyway. The next Patton variant is technically a refit of the original in an experimental design. Taurus Territorial Industries out in the Taurian Concordat was tasked with the job of sealing the tank for use in a zero-atmosphere environment. The team head, Kilament Sturba, was determined to make the modifications necessary to allow the tank to function on large asteroids and rocky moons where typically only battle mechs or stationary defense turrets could operate. The biggest structural changes to the Patton SB were the installation of a 260 XL fusion engine, the use of 11.5 tons of heavy ferrofibrous armor, and the addition of 6.5 tons of environmental sealing throughout the vehicle to protect the crew from the harsh outside environment. To give the tank an added boost, a supercharger was installed to boost the movement profile up to a 480 in short bursts. Finally, after months of refitting and painstaking work, the Patton SB was ready for testing. Its primary weapon was a silver bullet Gauss rifle in the turret. Backing it up was the familiar LRM-5 launcher. Finally, a pair of ER medium lasers in the turret added some mid-range punch. Unfortunately, the last official records do not include word if this experimental design ever made it past the testing stage. Additional intel will need to be gathered, though it would be a good idea if those seeking to invade the Taurian Concordat were wary of Gauss rifle slugs coming from hull-down tanks on asteroids and low-atmosphere battlefields. If you're feeling a bit down about not having access to the Patton SB, there is a variant of the tank created by the Taurians which has seen production. Though it isn't environmentally sealed, the Taurian Patton does include the supercharger and the heavy ferrofibrous armor seen on the SB experimental variant. This suggests there may be a connection in their research pathways. The Patton's primary weapon is the tried and true LB-10X autocannon along with 3 tons of ammunition. The LRM-5 in the turret is still there from the original, and an ER medium laser sits in the front firing arc of the body. Finally, a flamer is installed into the body facing that rear firing arc. The Taurian Patton is a solid performer, and that supercharger could be an interesting trump card to play on an unsuspecting opponent. The LB-10X's ability to fire cluster shot could be effective for crit seeking and making sure you hit that target when it counts. Overall, I like it a lot. Great upgrade to the original. Our last official variant of the Patton is known as the XL, and it comes to us from our friends in Defiance Industries and General Motors. It stands as the most advanced version of the tank as it benefits from the GM260 XL Fusion engine, 13 tons of ferrofibrous armor, and a swanky electronics package. Still envisioned as a general-purpose tank that would be useful in a wide variety of situations and environments, the weapons loadout of the Patton XL reflects that even more than the original. The primary cannon found in the tank's turret is an Ultra AC-10 along with 30 shots stored in the body of the tank. The traditional LRM-5 was eschewed in favor of an MML-5 enhanced with an Artemis IV fire control system. The laser installed in the front of the tank was upgraded to a medium X-pulse version. A flamer once again was found in the rear arc of the tank to prevent a sneaky infantryman from taking advantage. The laser, flamer, and Ultra AC-10 were aided with the installation of a targeting computer. The addition of case to the tank's body was intended to help improve that rate of crew survivability. While the Patton XL is an incredible machine that benefits from a lot of good tech, it also comes with a much higher price tag. The days of fielding a lance of tanks for a cost of a single battle mech are definitely over when it comes to this newer design. But, as always, you get what you pay for. Of course, before we wrap things up, I do want to take a crack at making my own MF variant of the Patton. The Patton 1 MF is a refit of the original, though with an XL engine. The 14.5 tons of standard armor is retained, and the 460 movement profile remains unchanged. Taking a slightly different route from the Ultra design, I've instead opted to add two LB-10Xs side by side in the turret, fed by 4 tons of ammunition in the body. 2 ER small lasers placed in the body's front firing arc provided close range protection along with a single ER small laser facing in the rear. It's a simple loadout, but one which offers a unique take on the design. While a single LB-20X was also an option, the range loss on it in comparison to the LB-10X can be painful, and there are other tanks out there that feature that bigger autocannon. I know some battlefield commanders are also not big fans of putting all their eggs into one basket with a single cannon. The twin LB-10Xs could help in that respect. If you want to give the Patton 1MF a try, I've included the record sheet for it in the video notes below. So why do we love the Patton? It's a bit hard to say definitively. The fact that it's a sleek-looking design, which also looks a lot like a 21st century tank, probably has a lot to do with it. The solid loadouts over the timeline also have to contribute. It's one of those tanks which is a solid performer and an actual threat to battle mechs that don't treat it with the proper amount of respect, and I like that. Do you have a Patton or Rommel battlefield tale? Is there something you think is missing from the pantheon of variants that you'd like to see? Let me know in the comments below and we'll keep the conversation going. Thank you as always for coming by to talk BattleTech. If you felt the video was worthwhile, hitting the like and subscribe buttons makes it much more likely you'll see my nonsense in the future. It also feeds my insatiable hunger for positive affirmation. Win-win, right? Taking the extra step to become a channel member more directly helps make sure the BattleTech nonsense can keep flowing. So until we meet again, take care and go make the world a slightly better place today and tomorrow.